B2B business? What's different from a B2C business? How do you sit back in your corner office and decide what businesses that you need to move forward and what businesses need to die? Why would you want to consider pricing as the most important parameter in your business cycle, and B, as the least important parameter in your business cycle? Why just a product by itself wouldn't sell? And of course, there is a little bit of market research, but digital age marketing, online marketing, SEOs, I'm not touching them per se because you would get them in term 4. But depending on how our conversation goes and how you push me to expand myself more and how absorptive you people are, we can get into that subject. Is that fair enough?
Yes, Professor. Thanks for the info.
Okay, good. So let me start off. As you can see, there's a slide out there which talks about it. And so far, I would like to hear from you all. What is it that we have discussed in the previous class? If you can recall anything, it needn't have to be subject wise. It could be a small humor that we had, or it's any reference that we made. Doesn't really matter. I just want to make sure that one is the
whole thing about Maslow's hierarchy.
Maslow's theory of the hierarchical pyramid. Okay, fair enough.
Strategic thinking and solving complex problems.
Okay, very good.
Small data analysis and big data analysis.
Very good, very nice. Yes.
We also analyzed why some companies failed in their marketing strategies.
Correct. That was, yeah, very good, very good, very good. Okay.
Maslow's pyramid. Man's structure.
Okay, that's good.
Maslow's pyramid.
Perfect, perfect.
Marketing is a closed loop wherein the feedback is occasionally or always.
Very nice, very good, very good. That's
Who moved
nice.
my cheese?
Who moved? Who? What's the answer? Okay, who moved your cheese is a good one. A case study of Philip, Nokia, Ericsson,
Yes.
and all that. Correct. Very, very good.
3 pillars of character.
Very nice. Okay, good. So there we stop at that, which means that you have been fairly attentive in the class. And
basically, we also discussed about how products were marketed and all.
Correct, correct. But I have a few observations myself, obviously, right? I have a few observations myself. Price to consumption, very, very good. Price to consumption, okay, good. No.
And rate of attrition also we discussed.
Rate of attrition, yes. Did we?
Yes, it's 2% for the good company.
Oh.
I think not in this class, sir.
Last class we discussed it.
It's an organization theory.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah, you are looking at the wrong professor. Okay, never mind. No. Hang on. That's not the point. The point is that I had something else to share. Is that I have been sitting in your OT class. I appeared and disappeared a couple of times, both in your class this morning and the last session. And I have been interacting with you all, and this is my second class, first 30 minutes of interaction. And I have something very interesting to observe. And what I observe is, though it's interesting, it's not probably the best way of looking at it. I noticed that the people who are asking questions in the OT class seem to be different from the people who are asking questions in the marketing class. Okay, whatever reasons, fair enough. I'm not going to stop the ones asking me questions in marketing to say, no, you didn't ask questions in OT, so you have no right to ask me. And the people in OT who asked questions, I mean, I've not sat through the other classes. Yes, subject of interest for the individual. That's exactly my point of discussion here. And pay attention for the next 1.5 minutes. Is that you are attending a course in MBA. It stands for Masters in Business Administration. You are not attending a course in marketing management. You're not attending a course in OT. You're not attending a course in economics. You're not attending a course in HR. Why am I saying this? Is this, as a manager, you are supposed to have every one of these skill sets. So if you wanted to be an HR specialist, that's a different story. Or if you want to be a marketing specialist, that's a different story. But even to be a marketing specialist, even if you're in your first year of engineering, for most of us are, I don't know how exhaustive is it today, but in the times when I was there, we did have to learn about civil engineering. We did have to learn about mechanical engineering. We did have to do foundry as an electronic student. So why am I saying it is that you are, as a manager, as a head of an organization that you will become tomorrow, or the days to come, or the years to follow, you are expected to have all skill sets. That's an MBA specialist. Of course, you could have certain job profile which could give you certain niche positioning in your company, but per se, I want you all to realize that all subjects have, not necessarily equal bearing. Equal bearing is your thought process, but I want you all to look at it is that you've come here because you should be able to sit on the 14th floor of your office, look down at the marketing guys and understand what they are doing, look down at production, have a statement of account on your table, manage labor issues, each one of them. It's only then that you can go up the organization. Is that a fair comment from my side?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I don't know about other classes. So I would want you, and that's a very, very important parameter. This is a parameter that I did discuss with the dean and professor, and I'm not sure if he mentioned this to you. If he mentioned this, I repeat it for the sake of importance. If he did not, I bring it up to you guys. Fair enough? Okay, good. Now, I have some good news and I have some bad news. The good news is that the Google form, I sorted out the issues of, I'm very specific and I'm very watchful of the fact that I want you all to react and give me answers during the session, which I have always done that on a physical session. So last session, I had some learning curve with Google Sheets and things like that. It didn't work. One of your classmates, I forget his name. If he's around, just raise your hand. He gave me some thoughts and processes, and now I have Google Forms ready. So that's both the good news and the bad news, because now the forms are ready. I expect you to fill them up as we move forward as the group processes. Last point on my list is assignment topic. Have you all looked at it, or have you had, if you've looked at it, any questions? If you're not looked at it, the questions from my side is, this is a group assignment. Are you aware of your groups? Have you in some way connected with each other?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Professor. Yes, sir. We are aware of the group.
Yes, sir.
So created.
Aware of the group. You are aware of what is expected out of the group.
Yes.
You are aware that it's a 15-minute presentation.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Some of us are, we have just joined from yesterday. So we will take a couple of days to pick it up. We will discuss with groups and then we will come in pace with everyone.
Perfect. You will do that. And are you also clear on your assignment marks? The assignment marks is for 30 marks. But what have I done? I have done it, I've handled it slightly differently. The group will join hands together to make a presentation for 20 marks. The 10 marks are going to be a reflection of your individual learning and reactive capability. So those 10 marks will come to you, especially the ones who have newly joined, will come to you in the form of answers that you will give through Google Forms or whatever the process has been done so far, and qualify yourself for the maximum of 10 marks. So why am I doing this? Is because the subject of management is all about teaming up. The subject of marketing is more so. And so I want to know how can you work as a group and how can you bring in togetherness, especially in challenging times like today, wherein you don't physically get to meet each other, but then you have, thankfully, lots of modes of connecting. And while I might know the group capability, I'm equally conscious of the fact that I need to know how is Sudarshan behaving, or what is Sudarshan's contributing, what is Shubhajit Mishra's contribution, and all like that. So I'm going to have a 10 mark pulled out of the 30 for what you will give me in terms of the CV that you gave me, in terms of the answers that you gave me, and all that. Done?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Done.
Perfect. Any other questions? We will address it and then make sure that we've all understood.
Sir, when can we see the marks given on assignments, like whatever we have submitted as of now, like CV and the company failed? So like how we can get the feedback and when we can expect?
No. You will get, I'm going to assume something here, Jasveer. I'm going to assume that you are in group 2. Okay. So no, don't tell me I'm not in group 2. I'm going to assume that you're in group 2. So in group 2, I'll also make a certain further assumption that the presentation of group 2 was pathetic. Okay. So presentation of group 2 was pathetic. So there is, out of the 20 that you guys get, okay, you get 8 marks, or 10 marks, whatever it is. But then I do notice that Jasveer, you in particular came up with unique CV, the CV that was very nicely edited to fit in. You came up with good answers for your various questions, couple of them that I'll ask you today, and one of them which was asked yesterday. So that will show that while the group has performed badly, you've done very well. So there's going to be 8 from the group. There's probably 10 from your own individual. That gives you 18. Whereas Sudarshan, who's part of the group, didn't really do well. I mean, arbitrary names, don't point fingers at that, because in my Zoom, that is how you are all represented. So he does bad even on his presentation. So he ends up getting a much lower mark. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So you will not know how much have you got out of 10. You will not know how much you have got out of 20, but you will know that it's a combination of your 20 and 10.
Yeah, but sir, one thing, like, okay, we will not get the marks, but at least feedback that how our CV or whatever the writing skills have impressed you, or
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. I have seen some. I will do that. You're perfectly right, because especially on the CV, it's an effort. So I will definitely, for those which are, there are very nice CVs, and I've even told you guys to keep editing it, no problem. I'm going to see it only on 23rd or whatever that is. So on the CV part, not on the other part. So yeah, there are some real good CVs, but what I'm going to do is, in specific, I'm going to slot out the next class to pick up the best of it.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks.
Done. Are we done? And shall we move ahead?
Sir, one request I had, since we made the Google form, right? Still some people have been editing the Google Sheet from your actual link. So what that is disturbing
Doesn't
is,
really matter. I will take pain out on the CV part of it and question 1. I will make sure that each and every one of them, I don't mind in which way they have come to me,
all right, sir.
order they are. I own responsibility to make sure that 120 of them or 130 of them, they come in terms of email, they come in terms of Google Forms or Google Sheets. I will take care of it.
All right, sir. If you want just the content of the Google form, you can let me know. Ping me, sir. I will send the Excel sheet out of the.
I have actually downloaded that. And
all right, cool, sir.
Who's this?
Anurag, sir. I created the Google form.
Yeah, Anurag is the one. I mean, Anurag is the one who helped me do this. And Anurag, taking one more step further, I've also done a VLOOKUP. So I know how to pull all of them, put them all together. So good. Thank you very much, Anurag.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so are we done? Can we move ahead?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
There's another question that I have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so in the Google Forms, so there was a lot of confusion for me earlier because it was written to write about yourself in 140 characters and also upload the CV, which I could not do because the Google form, like the link which is shared, is not working properly, neither on my phone nor on my laptop. So is there another way that we can do it? Like if you can share an Excel sheet, which is, we can edit the things over there and probably attach a link of something?
Excel sheet. There is a link to an Excel sheet. If you don't have it, I can paste it up sometime later on this or on the WhatsApp group. You can do that, or you can email me. You have my email ID right as we speak.
Yes, sir.
So I can be extremely forgiving for your classwork for the previous class, but going forward, it's going to be a little more tighter because that was a learning curve for me, and I'm over that. Okay. What about assignment 2, class assignment 2? Assignment 2, we will talk about it after you have presented your assignment 1.
Hi, sir. Above this side. Just.
Okay, done. Okay, thank you very much. Very absorbing session for almost 30 minutes, and we cannot lose time on that. So that done, we've done a lot of work on this. We are now going to move into another subject, which is called the product life cycle. Now, product life cycle is something that, okay, so one last time I'm going to comment is that all of you pay attention. Doesn't matter what your personal level of expertise are, what are your branches of work, and what are your skill sets, okay? Not just marketing, but all your courses, because you are doing an MBA course, you are expected. Okay, one last comment before in justification of my statement. I was talking to a student of my previous batch. She was an HR specialist, and she was telling me a story which is exactly what I wanted to start the day with, but I forgot it. She told me that as an HR specialist, she happened to be sitting around in a group meeting, and somebody was doing somebody from the marketing team made a presentation on a new product that they had introduced. And he kept talking about the features, talking about who is going to be addressing it and what and all that. And here is she woke up and said, it's all fine, but on the VRIO model, can you tell me how R is your product? We will discuss what's a VRIO model later today, but then she's telling me that, sir, I had the whole office stunned because I was an HR specialist who is actually challenging a marketing manager and asking him to explain it under one of the marketing jargons or acronyms. So that not only delighted her, that also delighted her management, and they now have her as an invitee to all the other meetings. So that's exactly what is expected out of your learnings, learning beyond your horizon, learning beyond your skill sets. Okay, done. No more gyan on that subject. Okay, good. So what's a product life cycle? Every product that we know has a period of growth, has a period of, has rather a period of incubation, has a period of initial progressive path, has a period of massive business profile, and then it slowly fades away. We have noticed them in any of all the products that we have seen. Some of them die even during their incubation period. Some of them just hang on for a few months and then vanish away. But some of them just don't seem to die. They seem to go on and on and on and on. One of the examples could be Liril. Possibly my grandfather was using Liril, and most likely my son would also, or my grandson would use it, is because Liril seems to know how to make come back and come back and come back. There have been products like the Maruti Alto, which has been hanging around for almost 20-25 years and still doing very well. Any other examples that you can think of a product which has been there so long and still doing well?
Horlicks also.
Horlicks, absolutely.
Hero Honda.
Royal Enfields.
Woodwards.
Godrej Almaris.
Dairy Milk.
Perfect. They okay. Now that you seem to have caught up with me, let me explain the 4 cycles that are involved. Let me put that into full screen. Okay. There is what's called the introduction phase. The introduction phase is where you actually are introducing the product and not very sure of what is the likely reaction, one, from the industry. Second is from the user. Would he come back to you again and again? Is he going to like it? Is he not going to like it? How am I going to beat the competition? So you are in a state of confusion, but that doesn't stop you from introducing. No company, however good it is not sure on how its success would be. Examples of so many of them. I mean, I can throw one example like the story of the Google Glass. The Google Glass introduction seemed to have made a lot of noise. It's been struggling right after that, despite all the access to money, access to research power, and access to technology. Some Google products do die. I mean, you know, at least quite a few Google products which have just come and just gone away. So an introduction phase is a phase where you are not even in the profitability stage. You've only tested the market. You're not very sure how the market is going. And then look at how it goes. That's when the profitability you can almost see is below margin. You even have negative profitability. That's the cost of introduction of the service. Exactly like the initial things that we had with Uber and Ola, who were not only merrily giving you a second ride the moment you took one ride, and they were merrily can somebody switch off all their videos, please? If I got a name on this? Yeah, please switch off your video. Yeah. So Uber and Ola were even incentivizing their drivers to such an extent that the drivers took it for granted. But that's a period when you have very, very low profitability coming in. The growth process is when you start seeing things happening. You start people talking about it, and then there is a period of time that you see that the market is reacting favorably to your product. It starts growing very well. Maturity is when it takes care of itself. You don't talk about it. There is nothing unique to the product now. Actually, now if you look at it, Uber and Ola have reached a level of maturity. There's nothing, you're not excited. Only thing is you are disappointed when a Tata Indica comes to pick you up, and you're reasonably smiling when you have a Etios or a Desire picking you up. Other than that, everything is taken for granted. and it becomes a little, there's nothing, it becomes a commodity that you do. Then the product dies, just like so many products have died. The product comes, dies away. It no longer makes relevance to our lives and it moves on. So this is what is a product life cycle. I just wanted to let you guys know, depending on where they are, the maturity is the period when you make the maximum money out of it, and you probably spend the least on advertising. And some companies just shoot off just when they are dying. They come out with a new avatar, they come out with a new product, a new gizmo attached to their solution, and they keep going on and on and on. Any questions on product life cycle, or then we can move into the next subject? Fair enough, well understood? Okay, good. While product life cycle is a very old story, product life cycles are kind of stories which I grew up with learning, and possibly most of the management classes have always been talking about product life cycle, the 4 levels of product life cycle. But the product, most of the time, we're talking about the product as a physical product. But now if you look at the world that we are in today, most of the products are actually in the form of apps or in the form of e-services, and they may not even have a physical layer to it. So as in terms of any management course, there are existing classical theories. We will talk about classical theories as we move forward. In all subjects, you have classical theories, and then you have new modern theories. For example, the classical theory would be the Maslow's pyramid of the thing. But the new concept may have something else that may come in. We will discuss that later. Classical theory always is that if you want to sell a pound of bread, you definitely need to target the bottom of the pyramid. But the more modern theory says that if that pound of bread is black black bread. I'll join in 2 minutes. Okay. It's brown bread with lots of vitamins put it, you actually can address a higher cycle. Okay. So, yeah, how do I get you all to mute it, please? Okay. Thank you. So which brings up to this statement saying that there is a new theory that is existing around. A new theory that applies more so with your new products, your Zooms of the world, your TikToks of the world, your Alexas of the world, and your mobiles apps that are coming in. Now, from a 4-fold model, we move into what is called the 5-fold model. What does that mean? Is that when any product gets introduced, there are a 2.5% of the potential market people who rush to buy it. Now they are called the innovators. Now they may be like you and me. I don't know about how many of you are there, but for me, the moment I see something very unique, I go ahead and buy it, or I go ahead and download an app which I thought makes sense. For example, I got pretty excited about the fact that you had a light bulb which could be connected to a Wi-Fi, and I can switch it on from my office or switch it off from anywhere else. So the moment it got introduced, I go and buy it. The moment an Alexa gets introduced, one of you actually rush to buy it. But for an app developer or for a developer of that product, the 2.5 is not an indication of success of the product. The 2.5 actually indicates that it's only the early innovators who are buying it. But if you still hang on and you still go beyond the 2.5, you reach a phase where it's called the early adapters. The early adapters are those who actually watch the innovators, seek advice from the innovators and say, hey, should I buy this product? Hey, do you think this is good? Okay, I'm sure you're playing with a lot of gizmos. What is your opinion of the Alexa? Do you think I should buy a Google Home or a Google Nest? Who would you ask? You would ask the innovators. The more and more the innovators are able to influence the early adopters, your product moves forward on the chain. Now comes a stage when the early adopters constitute close to 13.1. These are all arbitrary numbers with a certain amount of play in the figure. The early adopters are those who come to about 13.5. The moment you are looking at a 16% market of your visualized and targeted market, now you know that your product is a hit. Now you know that you are truly going ahead in the early sections. Okay, which means to say, let's take the example of, let's say, Netflix, or let's stick with Netflix. So the moment Netflix got introduced, there was a very small percentage of the people who actually downloaded or even paid for the Netflix service. But then the conversations keeps happening among the innovators in the offices saying that Netflix is good. The early adopters start subscribing for Netflix. Now there's a reasonable percentage of people who are already feeling and enjoying the services of Netflix. The early majority begin to realize that I'm missing out something. I'm missing out something, maybe because most of the conversation is about, I don't know, Patal Lok or Indian matchmaking or whatever that is. So they are missing out on the fun. So the early majority then have no other choice but to move into the same app or the same service that most of them have adapted. The late majority is those who are least flexible. They'll stick to their the comfort zones. They never move out of their comfort zones, but eventually realize that the son is not subscribing the DTH service, or he's not paying for the cable television. Let me also stick to whatever is coming out there. So while we have the product life cycle, I also want you to understand that the new terms that are getting in is called the law of diffusion of innovation. So any questions on that? Then we can move forward.
Sir, one question here.
Yeah.
So you talked about product life cycle and then law of diffusion of innovation. So how do you see in the current market? Shall we follow product life cycle or this new law of diffusion? So
no. You will follow both.
Okay.
You will obviously follow both, but then every product has a product life cycle. Doesn't matter where it belongs to. Every product has a product life cycle. But within the product life cycle, you also need to understand how do you move from an introduction phase to a growth phase to a maturity phase. If you look at this, the introduction phase is the innovators and the early adopters, whereas the growth phase is the early majority and the maturity phase is the late majority. So nothing else is interestingly happening. Then you take it for granted that business will go on. So why am I introducing this? Is just like you have classical theories, you have new theories. So that is a classical theory of the product life cycle. The new theory is called the law of diffusion of innovation. There is something else that talks about all of this, and you will anyway get access to these screens. Fine.
Sir, I have a question.
Yes.
Sir, does this law is applicable on every point of service or every product that we have?
Yes, it's generally applicable to every point of service as long as you are knowledgeable about it. Yes.
Yeah, so my follow-up question to that would be, if we look at the airline industry in particular, does this law affect there as well? Because, for example, if we get an air ticket cheaper than the other, our general tendency is to not look at how the airlines is, if it's new or if it's old. We'll just get the tickets. So,
Yes.
does that make any difference to this law, or is there any tipping point to specifically that airline company?
No. Okay. So this is on a product life cycle. Now, if you look at the product life cycle, airline industry per se is not new. Airline industry has been hanging around for a while. So people are no longer, there's nothing innovation in the airline industry that, okay, there was a time when you may want to have flown Indigo other than SpiceJet because Indigo said that you can do an e-ticket printout. But that could be in some sense a product innovation. But now no longer, airline is a mature industry. There was a time when I would, I mean, not that I'm saying it, but for the fun of it, I would flash my boarding pass to all my other colleagues to show them that I'm flying. But now everybody is flying. So there is nothing to that. So that brings in the next point of discussion, which is that how do you differentiate in a very competitive environment, which will then bring you that you are in the airline industry, you are in the mature phase. There's no growth happening. There is one airline is not saying I fly faster. Another airline is not saying I give you more window seats. It's only that the whole industry is in a mature phase. How to react in a mature phase is what you will learn in the classes ahead.
Sir, I think for airline industry, there is one example that I can give. The launch of AirAsia. Initially when AirAsia was launched, they were offering ticket less than 1,000 rupees because they wanted to present their business into India.
Okay, hang on. So that was in which stage of the product life cycle?
The initial stage. I mean, when they came into existence in India. For example, Chennai to Bangalore.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, no, I just wanted to, for the question that I think Anil had asked, I said AirAsia also came up with that particular thing. When they came into the picture, they invested a lot, but now they are also at a matured place where, the charges of AirAsia and Indigo are similar. But way back, I think the first time that I flew was in 2016 and 17, something like that, or 15. And I traveled from Chennai to Bangalore and the ticket was only $650. So
right.
And it was AirAsia
possibly today all airlines, that's another topic that we will discuss, which is called the art of carteling. Okay, so we will have more on that. Now, pricing is not a differentiator. If you look at the pricing of air tickets, the pricing of all air tickets are similar. Have you seen that? It's that they're all similar. So pricing is not the differentiator. Possibly timing is the differentiator for a businessman. A businessman, you may want to take a 7 a.m. flight from Bangalore to Mumbai, which allows you to land there for your first meeting at 9:45. So you are willing to pay 1,000 rupees more for that ticket than be excited that the ticket costs 1,000 rupees late, but then less, but you only reach close to your lunch hour. So the differentiator no longer is the pricing, nor is it convenience, but it is the timing which comes in. So we will discuss that as we go. We will move further on that.
One of the example of differentiation in this one was like long time back. There was one helicopter service started from Electronic City.
Yeah, just give me 1 second. Yeah, go ahead, please.
Yeah, so I'm not remembering the time, but I read the news that from Electronic City to Kempegowda Airport, the helicopter service was started so that the people can reach quickly. So that was in introduction phase, but because the prices was very high, like 5,000 for just flying from Electronic City to, so that didn't go good
Absolutely,
ahead.
absolutely.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that nobody flew. There were quite a few who actually flew and made that service. They were the initial innovators who flew, but that service did not click up to a point where it would cause a tipping point in the whole service. Okay. So I think I will probably take the last question from Hemant because we have a lot to cover. Yes.
Professor, if you see the airline industry, it is you can see that it is there for the past 4 or 5 decades. So it is a saturated market. So
Absolutely.
AirAsia came into India, so they wanted to get into the market, due to which they priced it the ticket for 1,000. So that cannot be a new kind of scenario where you're trying to bring it out as a Netflix. So Netflix is a new product range.
Absolutely, absolutely. We will actually discuss. That's called predatory market, predatory pricing. We'll actually, if you guys looked at what Jio did, you look at what Jio did. What did Jio do in a saturated market? We'll come to that later. I will probably see what is next here, and then we will take. I'm sorry, I'm going to stop you all on this topic because I have to. We have a lot more to cover. Fair enough?
Sure, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Sir.
Yeah. Let me get something else opened up, and then we will. Okay, I'm going to. Just wondering which one to open, but let me go ahead with this.
Wall Street Journal, the mobile phones is quite interesting.
Oh yes, we were to discuss that. We were to discuss that, and yeah, good that you brought it up. Let's discuss that. I want that's exactly my line of thought. And now tell me, let's spend 10 minutes talking on that subject. How many of you read those articles?
Professor, I read that article.
I read
both of them.
Okay. So what are your initial observation on that article?
Professor, I think this kind of new surveys where they're trying to target the majority.
Hang on. I'm going to define. Sorry, you must get used to this method of my teaching. You're going to talk as though you're managers. You're not going to talk as though you've read an article. You're not going to talk to me that as an user. You're going to react in any one of the 3 ways. Either you're the owner of a dishwashing company, point number 1, or you're somebody who's commenting about the industry and the market, or you are a new entrant wanting to come into an India from a dishwashing company, point number 1. From Jio, if you looked at it, the new phones, you would either be a smartphone manufacturer reacting to this news item, or you are somebody within the core team of Mukesh Ambani who actually made this decision and now telling me a story as to why you made that decision. So that said, I want you all to talk on those lines. Go ahead.
Representing from the Reliance Jio team. So I would like to state that this is a saturated market. One thing we need to think out of the box, and there's a potential, the mass, like the crowd of the rural market, which has to be captured, and you could get a lot of revenue out of it. That is leaving metros. Now the rural part you need to target, and the point is like they can't spend money much. So you need to bring out kind of a product where it is like it will be very convenient for them to buy right away without any second thoughts. And also by bringing in the technology of a voice kind of a interactive technology, so that the end user will be more kind of like comfortable in their regional language as well. He can try to get into.
Perfect. Very nice. Hemant, that's a very nice representation of the whole story. Perfect. Anybody else would want to talk about it?
Yeah, sure, sir. So as India is a developing market, so we are not a developed country yet. So majority of our population lies in the rural areas. So with this innovation and the area which is going to cover would be a massive game changer, and it will give the population who are in the rural areas or probably in the below poverty level a mode of entertainment, like rightly mentioned in the article.
Perfect. Okay, just one comment in my style of teaching is that once I've noticed that Preeti Singh or whoever spoke earlier have actually driven a point, I'm going to stop you there because I know that you know exactly what you're talking. Okay? Yeah. So I know what you were speaking was perfect. That's exactly well spoken. Anybody else wants to talk about the other product, washing machines? I mean, dishwashers? Nobody's, yeah.
From a user standpoint, from a consumer standpoint, this is Vijay here.
Yes, go ahead from a consumer standpoint.
Yeah, but I think it still holds good from an, kind of an upscale community wherein these large apartments, right, wherein you have a small compact dishwasher, which can still, take care of, even though you have your maids and servants.
Okay, Vijay, I'm going to stop you there. Vijay, I'm going to stop you there and I'm going to ask you a question. You read exactly the point in which, if you read that article, how many of you are hearing news of your colleagues, your cousins, your friends, your neighbors buying dishwashers of late?
I have heard, so last week itself.
Last week itself, a lot of them are buying dishwashers, correct?
Or else looking forward to buy it.
Looking forward to buying or buying them. Okay, hang on, let's stay there. If you read that article, tell me what is it in that article has changed over the last 3 months, which is forcing Preeti Singh's neighbor to buy a dishwasher?
Kadai feature.
Which one?
It's not coming because of lockdown.
Kadai feature? Okay, what is the other one?
We don't have maids.
Absolutely.
Maids are not there.
And people are working from home, so
exactly.
They can't
When I was
pile of utensils.
Yeah. So when a key parameter moves, your buying decision moves, right? When a key parameter moves. I was told to buy a dishwasher because I had a friend who was working for IFB and he said, I'll give you at a 35% discount. And I told him that even if I invest in a bank and I get 6% rate of return, I think my servant might come out cheaper because she's not only a dishwasher, she's 4 or 5 items put together. But now that key blockage to a decision has moved away. So
I think
now, yes.
Sorry, sir. I just want to add a point. I think on a lighter note, given that most men are asked to wash dishes these days, their preference to buying a dishwasher is opened up.
Yeah, that provided you are under the assumption that you are the decision maker in your house. Are you married?
Yes.
My God, you got guts, my friend. You got guts.
By the way, I'm also in the MBA session, sir.
This was very bold move then.
That was a very bold move. It's going to be a risky evening. Okay, good. So nice observation. I just want to bring in one more parameter in our discussion on the 2 topics. The effect is called the Geo-Dhoni effect. How many of you know what is the Geo-Dhoni effect?
No, sir, I don't know.
Okay. See, if you look at it, let's not discuss Geo first because first came Dhoni and then came Geo. Dhoni, when he moved into the cricketing world, he demonstrated something very, very, very unique. He demonstrated to the cricketing world, and the cricketing world is only one nation, India, that you don't have to be a product of a city to come and rule the Indian cricketing domain. You can come from a small town in Jharkhand, from Ranchi, and become the captain of the Indian cricket team. That resulted, it is one Dhoni which resulted in lots of new series of players in the cricketing industry, in the Bollywood industry, with Kangana and all those things coming up, which was that Dhoni's presence in a very restricted market showed that today you no longer have to be from the primary cities to have a presence in the cricketing world, or any world for that matter. That's called the Dhoni effect. The Jio effect said that you don't have to be in Bangalore to get the best internet. You could be sitting as far as Coorg or in some town in Rajasthan, and you will get the same quality of 4G internet. So that is called the Jio Dhoni effect. The Jio Dhoni effect has now virtually hit across all industries. And so now you have success happening across, not necessarily confined to primary cities. So these are terms that normally get to be talked about when you are in the marketing or on the management domain. So I want you also to start learning the act of having this kind of a conversation, right? Yeah, so I'm gonna now share another screen. Where is my screen? Just give me 1 minute. Should have opened up by now. Yeah. Okay, can you see the screen now?
Yes, sir, we can see that.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Now we are moving into the second point of the conversation, which is more about strategic planning. So this is what you will be learning. I'm going to skip a few slides and then we'll get down to it. You will read through it. I'll not get there. You must understand what is the key objective of any organization. The key objective of any organization is whatever resources that we have, and what is it that we can do with these resources, and what is the market that we have. How do we combine these two for A, profitability, and 2, long-term existence? That's a simple theory that every organization works on. Any organization. If you are an IT company, you say that these are the IT resources that we have, these are the skill sets that we have, which are the markets that I can be willing to enter, and how long can I be in this market, with an objective of profitability. And of course, you don't want profitability alone. You also want to have growth. So understand that every organization works under this set parameter. That said, every organization has a second approach. One is called the strategic approach. The second is called the tactical approach. A strategic approach would be, what is my strategy? How do I play a game? For example, I'm sure, or at least for myself, I start thinking about the class since the very morning. If I have a class today from 9 o'clock, 9:50 onwards, I'm just thinking, what should I give as examples? How should my conversation move? How should it all go? And these are all what I'm thinking about as my strategy for today's class. But the moment I open up the screen, I'm not doing any strategy onwards. I have to react to a situation. With all this, I never thought we would be spending so long a time talking about product life cycle. So now I need to, how do I tactically handle it? So there are two elements to any effort. There is the strategic effort, there is the tactical effort. Of course, as it goes with the cricketing world or any other world or any world for that matter, you plan up something. But what you plan up and what happens next, you never know. That's a real-time situation. How much ever you may want to be prepared, the moment you enter, how much of preparation that you do for a stage presentation or a stage drama, you will fumble with your words. So whatever amount of strategy you may do, you need to have tactical skills with you to be able to move forward. So that is what is strategy versus tactics. This said, every organization has a marketing plan. Because as we discussed, if there is no marketing, there is no business. So what are the marketing plans of any organization and what does it typically consist of? A marketing plan is a series of thought processes, series of steps that we intend to take towards achieving a set objective or a set goal. Okay, I'm not going to go to every slide because that's for you to read through. I'm just going to go through some of the few parameters of discussion. Now, this is something that I want you to remember thoroughly all through your life. You should be woken up in the middle of your night and asked to explain what is a marketing plan. And you should be able to tell it. Every organization has to have these things. They may have it in paper, they may have it in their heads. The best organization not only has it on paper, has it on the director's head, but has it on the brains of every employee of their own organization. What is a business mission statement? What is the objective of my company? What do I plan to do with my company? Am I here to make money and run away? Am I here to do charity? Am I here to stay for 10 years and wind up and go to Kailasa, as some fellow went? So what is my objective? Am I here to employ 1,000 people? Am I here to have the highest market share? Am I here to be respected as an organization? That is what is my business mission statement. What are the objectives of my organization? Depending upon what I am. If you look at the objectives of Dayanand Sagar MBA course, could be that the objective is to produce one of the finest set of managers which India lacks today. Because if you go look at any Indian organization, an Indian organization which has branches all over the world, very hardly has Indians heading those organizations. But if you look at Chinese organizations which are branches all over the world, they're normally headed by a Chinese organization. Because the Chinese have been able to, one, teach their people the art of global business, whereas we have not really done that so far very, very well. So we have what is called a business mission statement. We'll talk about it in a few minutes. We have another 10 minutes and I'm going to give you a We'll take a break. Okay, then we have the objectives. Then we will look at what is a SWOT analysis. And then there is the 4 P's, which is called the product, place, price, and promotion. And then, of course, there is the evaluation and the loop back mechanism. So take a picture of this and put it in your head, because this is the key to any marketing organization. I'm not going to break here now, because I'm going to move into the next point. What is the mission statement and what is the vision statement of an organization? Okay, so I'll skip those points and come to a specific point. Is a mission statement is what is wrong with this world and how do I intend to fix it? The vision statement of Uber was that people are struggling to move from destination A to B, and I'm going to fix that point. That's my key objective. The mission statement of Bounce was that, if you know Bounce as an app, was that guys who knew two-wheelers, who knew to drive two-wheelers, were not able to drive them because they didn't get them where it is. So if I can temporarily give them ownership of a two-wheeler, I think I'm addressing the problem of those who cannot have, who do not want to, or do not have resources to sit in an Uber car. The mission statement is what do you do to solve the problem. But then what is a vision statement? Once you have solved the problem, how will the world look like? Once I've solved the problem, I'm sure people will be greater efficiency. There'll be less cars on the road because people will be efficiently using Uber cars, and I might actually make a world a less polluted place or whatever that is. So understand what is a mission statement. A mission statement is what you do to fix the world. A vision statement is how the world will look once you have fixed the world. So the immediate thing is mission. The near-term objective is a mission statement. The far-term objective is a vision statement. Any questions so far on this?
So you start with a mission statement and then build the vision, or you have a vision and then kind of work backwards in terms of what the mission statement was?
It depends on who you are. Depends on, I mean, yeah, I'm just give you a longer answer. It depends on how do you get there. The example, I'm going to give you 2 examples, very, very unique in their own sense. And there are more standard examples which come in the pages to follow. For example, do you know a gentleman called Elon Musk?
Yes, we heard of
Yes,
Yeah, Elon Musk has been in the news for,
of course, sir.
Elon Musk is in the news for?
Space. For
Tesla.
Tesla. He's in the news for Tesla. He's in the news for SpaceX.
Actually, sir, he had sold his PayPal, and from that, he had created 3 new companies called Tesla and SpaceX and one more.
Yeah, Solar City.
Neuralink.
Perfect. Okay, okay, hang on. Stop. Time out. Okay, have you heard of a gentleman called Jeff Bezos?
Yes.
Have you done business with Jeff Bezos?
Yes.
Amazon.
What percentage of your salary do you donate every month to Jeff Bezos business?
33%.
33% of your business goes to Jeff Bezos. Okay. So now these 2 gentlemen are of the finest thought processes. Now, both of them, because I come from a space industry, I'm going to tell you this, the space part of the story. Both of them believe that there's something wrong with this world. There's something wrong with this earth. There's something wrong with the way we are living in this earth. So Elon Musk says this earth is no longer worth living. We will have to vacate this earth. One fine day, every species on this earth will have to move away because earth will become unlivable for reasons of global warming, for reasons of pollution, or whatever the reason, we have to move away. And hence, we have to find methods to habitate ourselves in Mars. So my vision is that one fine day, man will live in Mars. That's my mission. That's my vision. That's my vision. Long term. Long term. That's what I think is the only solution for mankind. The only solution for mankind, if he has to survive, is that he has to go to Mars. But to go there, what is it that I must do? To go there, I must build better rockets. To go there, I must build better satellites. To go there, I must have reusable rockets. To go there, I must have better energy available for me to go there. So the mission is to make cheaper rockets. The mission is to make reusable rockets with an intention to have man travel to Mars. So that is Elon Musk's definition of the world. But what is Jeff Bezos' definition of the world? Jeff Bezos says, yes, mankind is suffering because Earth is becoming a polluted place. But Earth is ours. We are not going anywhere. We must do something to make Earth a better place to live. So what do we want to do? We want to move polluting industries from Earth to Moon. Looks crazy, but every vision statement is possibly crazy, but that's how it is. Remember, Columbus said that I will find India going westward. He was laughed at. Nobody was even willing to pay him money to go there. When I don't know, I forget his name, somebody who said that Earth is not the center of the universe was a crazy statement, only for years later for us to realize that he was making sense. So what does he want to do, Jeff Bezos? Jeff Bezos says that I will move polluting industries out of Earth and I'll make Earth just a livable place. So that is why he's also building rockets, and he's doing Blue Origin and all these stuff so that you can actually have manufacturing in Mars, wherever that is, and man here would have more cleaner weather, environment and all that. So this is what is a vision and mission statement. Does it make sense? Are you able to follow me on this?
Yes, yes. Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So now comes the statement saying that this is a typical Infosys vision statement. Look at what Infosys says, that I want to be a globally respected corporation that breeds the best of business solution. So what does it mean? Globally means I'm not going to be sticking to India alone. Respected means I'm not going to get into issues of corruption, and the best of the breed. And what is the mission? To achieve fairness, honesty, and courtesy towards our clients, employees, and vendors. So what does it mean? If I read the mission statement of this company, I know that if I'm a supplier to Infosys, they are gracious enough to pay me as per a committed business cycle, something like that. So this is what a Infosys vision statement looks like. Look at the vision statement of Microsoft. This is the vision statement of Microsoft. So if you have understood vision and mission, there are more of them. I'm now going to give you, now that I have, I'm going to give you guys 15 minutes to give me filling up the Google Forms, the vision and mission statement for 2 organizations. Is that fine?
Existing organizations or the new ones which you have to put?
I'll tell you. I'm going to put it in the chat window. This is for 2 organizations. One is TikTok and the other is Zoom conferencing app. Oh, I think it went to privately, it said, right? It went to everybody in the meeting. Can you see this now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, can one of you click and tell me that you are able to connect to it?
Yeah, so it's working.
It's working, right? So
Yeah.
I'm going to give you both, all of you, 15 minutes to look at it, enter your vision and mission statements, be innovative. Don't search the Google, because impossible that you will have TikTok give you a vision and mission statements. They had nothing of that kind. Okay, so don't assume that. And the other one is Zoom. Maybe you will find it, but I'm not sure about it as such. Okay.
So you need one each for both of them, or you need one for.
You do any one of them is good enough for me.
No, sir, actually the question is, it says create a mission statement for TikTok and create a vision statement for TikTok app or Zoom. Okay, so okay, got it, sir, got it.
Yeah, got it, right?
So anyone. Okay.
Anyone, just use your innovation, anyone. You guys can, I'm open to you working as a team also, but not maybe on this one. No, not on this. Go individual. Okay, the time is 2:46. I'm going to gather back at 3:05 or something. Is that fine?
Yes, sir.
3:05. I log in. I'll have instantaneous results. Yes. I am on. If you guys have any questions, just raise it. I'll be able to answer.
Someone is on mute. Can you please mute yourself?
Can anyone tell me where we should go and update this? Do we have a shared drive or something?
So if you there is a link shared in the chat window, so you can click on that. It will head you to the Google form. You can fill out there.
Okay, thanks.
Docs link.
I didn't hear you guys, but are any questions you guys have or no?
Yeah, somebody asked for the links. So we have provided.
Okay, good. Okay, fine.
But for any of the one organization, both vision and mission statement, sir?
Any one is fine, but then you must consistently, you can't have vision of one and the mission of the other.
Yeah, okay.
Then I will not be able to get to know your thinking process. You have to stick to only one.
Okay.
Good afternoon, sir. This is Shreyas here. So I just wanted to check whether can we come up with our own vision and the mission statements for either of these two apps?
It is your own. It is your own.
Okay, got it.
It is your own. That's why I said don't search. You will not find it. You might find for Zoom.
Yeah.
But don't go. It is your ability to think.
Got it, sir. Got it.
Okay.
Thank you.
That's why I gave TikTok, because I don't think any link to TikTok should technically open up today.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Sir, can you please give us the sample answers? Hello? I'm back, and most of you are done, or are there some who have not done and using this also as a break?
Since we consider ourselves as a CEOs, we have to think a little bit about it. So just thinking on it.
So you're still thinking?
Writing it down now. So.
Okay. That's Krishna Raj who said that, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm not too fond of dogs, but then the one that you have seems to be a cute one.
Yeah, it was a pretty small German Shepherd.
Okay.
German Shepherd, yeah.
Okay.
Just a month old.
Oh my God.
Sir, Prasanna, I have submitted.
Good. I don't know if I want to pull it out right away and talk about it, but I know how to look at it.
Probably if you can just read out one or two, it'll be nice.
Okay.
Submitted.
That. I will do that.
Maybe we can discuss once everyone has submitted.
It's okay. I'll see whoever has done what is done, right?
Yeah, we can discuss.
So Namita here, I have done.
You're done. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Sagar here, I have submitted.
Nathan here, sir. Completed. Submitted.
Still not done. Please wait.
Responses.
Submitted, sir.
59.
Priya here submitted.
So Sunam here submitted.
Okay, fine. You don't have to report. Don't bother. You submitted. Okay. Create a low-code platform which helps building application is something Vinay wrote. I like what Vikas Mohan wrote. TikTok, you are the lead actor in your video. But what was your corresponding thing? To reinvent how people create, share videos, tell stories, and inspire the audience. That's a nice thought, Vikas. Let's see.
Thank you, sir.
Daud Hipa, if I spelled you right, aim to provide a platform to express their individual talents. Very nice. Okay, so you move to Zoom from there. Okay, that's to connect society. Let me look at 2 Zooms. That's also very nice, Daud. That's well written. I'm arbitrarily picking out, so don't assume that yours is bad. I'm looking at Priya Bhatt, who says to be a creative media in a global level, to recognize the talent of each other, each and every person. Very nice. And let me pick up the Zoom one. I have Deepak saying, conferencing mission is to help friends and family members talk to each other. The vision is to foresee a future in meeting and talking to people. Very good. I had a mission and vision statement last morning, which was to make sure that the Google form works. I achieved my mission statement thanks to Anurag, who writes to capture and present the world's creativity, knowledge, and precious life moments. TikTok to enable each individual to be a content provider. Very good. Good job done, guys. Ankita says connecting the world. That's very nice. And TikTok platform to create and videos worldwide. Anybody wants to raise his hand and mention his name, I will read it out.
Vijay here.
Vijay, yeah? How do I find Vijay? Vijay Oleachi?
No, it is Vijay PR. My name ends with an I.
With an I, Mr. Vijay. I'm not going to do a search here.
Rajan done.
Okay, good. Vijay, Vaibhav. I don't find Vijay.
That's fine, sir. That's fine. In the interest of time, let's move on. I just had
I can see, I think Vijay PR.
That's correct.
To provide, which one is this? TikTok, right? Okay.
TikTok, yeah.
Provide uninterrupted, secure, and delightful user experience to all viewers. Very nice. And TikTok vision to provide an innovative, convenient platform. Did any one of you write saying that to make sure that man is lazy, doesn't work hard, and his productivity is skilled? For TikTok, did anybody write like that? To make man a lazy fellow and not do any productive work?
No.
Now somebody will.
If anybody wrote that, I would have given him 10 out of 10.
No, we wanted to write. Actually, I also don't like TikTok and have never installed. But we, as it was written from the owner's perspective, so everybody thought it's the positive.
No, but
Sir, I wrote like to give some work to jobless people.
Did you write that?
Yes, it's Priya Singh. You can check.
Okay. Very nice. Very nice. That's it. That's how. Yeah, we'll try to build some innovation. Good. Then, are you now ready to recording? I'm not recording. Is it recording? Yeah, it's recording.
Then
Okay,
we are
so let's
10
move
out
on.
of 10.
Just one curious question before we move on. The mission and vision.
Curious or curious?
Curious. See you.
Okay. Ah.
So, have there been companies who have modeled their vision statement like a marketing tagline, or so Nokia says connecting people, right? That was a marketing tagline. Is there something fancy vision that any company that you are in your experience has? Just a general knowledge question.
Vision. Well, I'll tell you why a vision is important. A vision is important because it is also to know where am I heading. For your question, I hope wait, give me a minute. This one, right? Okay. For example, the vision statement of Airtel, Bharti Airtel, kept changing every few years. The vision statement of Bharti Airtel was to be the biggest mobile provider in India. But in no time he did that. So now you have a challenge, is that even your vision is accomplished. Very few people accomplish the vision. So now he had to modify saying to be one of the top telcos in the world. But after a few years, we actually have a case study on Airtel, if we have time, to looking at the clock, okay, is that he got beaten left, right, and center by a company called, can somebody complete it?
No.
Jio.
Jio.
His vision had to change. His mission obviously had to change because his mission was no longer my numbers. My mission is to have one in every 2 Indian have an Airtel connection, was his mission statement 6 years back. I'm just assuming. I'm just purely assuming. But then when Jio came,
designation ID equal to 9. What is the designation ID of this fellow? 9 only, huh?
Okay, who's this? Who's this? Mute. Okay. Then when he realized that Jio came and pulled out all his customers, what did he do? He also started reducing the price. Then he realized that reducing the price is not the answer. Get into a price war. There is a saying, no, if you fight with a pig, what happens? Both of you get dirty, but the pig enjoys it. So similarly, when you get into a price war with Jio, Jio is Reliance. They have so much, they are willing to bleed. So that's when he realized, that is Airtel realized, that reducing the price is not important. His mission and vision is to have quality customers. I don't want that customer who recharges for 49 every month. I want that customer like Karthik Chandrasekhar, who is going to make 9,999 as his billing, or 4,999 as his billing. To that guy, I'm even willing to give him free Netflix. To that guy, I'm going to give him free Prime Video. I'm going to thank him. That's how Airtel came up with Airtel Thanks. So a vision mission sometimes is dynamic. If you don't have dynamic vision and mission statements, then you're not moving forward. I hope that's a long answer for a short question.
So I have a question. So you mean in that case, mission stays the same and vision keeps changing?
Both of them keep changing. Both of them keep changing all the time. Unless and until you have a vision statement like, I want the world to be a better place. That's my vision statement.
Okay, makes sense.
But my mission
Are means to achieve the vision, right?
The world to be a better place. Now, what product am I selling? Anything, right? Anything on the face of the earth I could be selling. My mission statement is, I want my chocolates in the mouth of every kid. So when you have a vision statement like, I want the world to be a better place, it doesn't really talk about how are you going to go there. You know, your vision also has to be a superset of your mission, or your mission has to be a subset of your vision. Okay, so good. We've done that. We're going to thank you for all your responses, and let's now start moving into the next part of it. So once you've understood what is a vision and mission statement, needless to say that you will be asked in the question in your exam, or one of them, obviously, you will be prompted to give an explanation for what it is. We then move forward to the next part of it. What is it? What did we do? If you look at here, and I told you that this is something that has to go to your head, right, completely, that is this. So you have a business mission statement. You have a mission which also has a vision statement. Then your objectives of your, what are your objectives? I didn't get deep into the objectives of the company. The objective of the company could be profitability, directors are well paid for, employees are well taken care. They are the even more smaller time definition of thing. The next thing that we do is called a SWOT analysis. How many of you know what is a SWOT?
So is
strength, weakness, opportunity, and
absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. So you have the strength, weakness. How many? So it looks like every. I was just playing. I was playing Scrabble with my son, and because now we are trying to keep ourselves entertained and all thing. I mean, we just realized that SWOT is actually a Scrabble word. Which means to say that though it's an acronym, it's become so common that it's actually is a Scrabble word. So all of us knew SWOT in a very open sense even before we came into a management course. So while I am going to describe to you SWOT, I want you to start thinking of it as a bigger thing. Every organization, when it does any work, it wants to know what am I good in? What are my challenges? What am I going to be worried about? What is going to bring me a smile on my face? Any organization, these are the 4 things that it's worried about. If I decide to start a new whatever, I will have the same thing. Will I start with something which is my strength? Yes, this is what I'm good in. That's why I should move forward. These are areas where I don't have expertise. I know nothing about accounting. So I need to get a partner who's good in accounting. Why are we doing this? Because we have this kind of an opportunity out there, which is bright then and there. And then of course, we have the possible things that can shake the industry, that can throw the industry. None of us anticipated the pandemic which could do this wrong to us. Except one person that I know. He is, I'm trying to find him again so that he will answer all my problems in life. Because I had this person who I have been giving my clothes for ironing or pressing, whatever that word may be, for well over 15 years to this gentleman who stays near my neighborhood. And one fine day in the month of Jan 2020, he tells me that he's doing good business because he actually charges 20 to 50% more than what the other guy would charge. So he's telling me that, sir, I'm tired of this business. I don't want to do this business anymore. I said, your business is roaring. Why are you not taking it forward? He says, no, I'm tired. The place where I'm staying is very crowded. I'm going to sell my business. I'm going to sell my house. I'm going to move out of it. And I'm going to go and settle down in some village very far away. I don't know what kind of a foresight that he had is that whoever bought his business hasn't possibly ironed a single piece of cloth since March till the day that we talk about. So he was able to make an absolute analysis of the possible threats that could be, or we don't know. So, but the guy who bought it from him obviously thought that there are opportunities in it. So what does that mean? Is that Sometimes you make decisions which are fleetingly perfect and then fit in very well, or sometimes you make decisions based on some of your own weaknesses or some of the external threats that we have. So this said, I'm going to spend through the next 10 minutes trying to explain SWOT to a team that knows SWOT very well. So it's easier for me because I can then move to another section. So things that the company does well are the company's strength. Things that the company does not do well are its weaknesses. Actually, all of us are asked to write a resume or a CV. We are told that make sure that you know what are your strengths, your weaknesses, and make sure that you tune your CV in such a way that your strengths open up and your weaknesses hidden only to be opened up in the time of the interview. Okay, so that said, opportunities are those external parameters which will give you the business growth. Threats are again those external things that can damage your business or make it. Examples of strengths are any one of them. I'm pretty good in marketing. I know how to reduce cost of any production. I have resources to finance. I have available technology. My company is already branded. So any branded company has its own value, and hence I bring in some strength to the organization. Even when you look at a joint venture, what is a joint venture? A joint venture is when two organizations come together. An organization, when two organizations come together, they are happily married if each one of them are complementing the other. An example of an happily married, or till very recently happily married, would have been Hero Honda. Why? Because Hero was having Hero cycles. They were doing Hero cycles, and when the government of India opened up the licenses for manufacturing two-wheelers, Hero company had the license for manufacturing motorbikes. Honda had the technology skills to manufacture. So they made a good partner. Honda had the best of the technology. Hero had the best of the market reach. So they were in partnership for almost a very, very long time, almost 25, 30 years, only to break up very, very recently. The Hero Honda breakup story is also a very, very nice story. They did not break up in anger. They broke up for mutual convenience. The relationship was so good that when Hero Honda parted ways and began to compete with each other, Honda was gracious enough to tell Hero Motors, whatever it's called, that for the next 5 years, we will continue to share all our R&D progress with you. So that's how some joint ventures work well. That's when each of them are perfectly complementing the SWOT part of the analysis. Okay. So this is what are the strengths and weaknesses. These are opportunities. We all know what opportunities are that could just open up, and opportunities could also die when something happens. So these are opportunities. Opportunities and threats are external. Strength and weaknesses are internal. I have a lot of financial resources, but I somehow seem to be not good in retaining my staff. That's my weakness. Is that because of external conditions? No, it's because of my own internal problems. All of us know that strengths and weaknesses are internal, opportunities and threats are external. I have a business for opening this area has no restaurants, and hence that's an opportunity for me. But somebody else is also thinking that this area has no restaurants, and so he opens a restaurant next to me. So we both understand opportunity and threats are an external parameter. Fair enough? Any questions so far? To those of you who don't come from the marketing front,
this is targeted at you. Are you sure of that you have understood strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats?
Yes, sir. Fair enough so far.
Fair enough.
Yeah, Professor. Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay. So we move into one analysis of what the strength, weakness, opportunity are. This may be a dated slide. This slide is not recent, but just to give you a look at what could be. The strength of Microsoft is that they are a market leader in operating systems. And look at their threats. Their threats could be that Google Drive is coming and maybe Windows is losing out its market share. That is the threat that they have to their own product. Then they thought that when Nokia was acquired by Microsoft, they thought that that was an opportunity to enter the mobile market. Of course, there was an opportunity, but despite all the money and the resources, they were not able to make a dent in the mobile market. So that is one of the opportunities that they were not able to capitalize on. These are historical evidences. Okay. Apple, we all know what their weaknesses are, what their strengths are. And this is one more that I wanted to talk about. You can look through it. But
sir, can you maximize the windows?
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Dated slide, don't bother. Things would have changed a lot after it, but this is only to give you an idea of what a SWOT could be. But SWOT is so common that you go post your management course and sit with your manager and say, or your boss and say, boss, let's do a SWOT analysis. He's going to tell you that you wasted your time. Because SWOT is so common that it has lost its edge. SWOT is now replaced by a more dynamic model, which is called the VRIO model. Now, a VRIO model also looks at many parameters of an organization and determines whether that organization has an edge to survive. Has that organization the ability in it to expand? Now let's look at it. Is my organization valuable to the customer? Will the customer find me as something that he's been missing all along? And do I bring it absolute value to this customer? Is my model rare? Okay, quiet. Okay, is this model rare? What does rare mean? Nobody thought of it. It comes from nowhere, and people are going all the way. And the third is it difficult to imitate? What is difficult to imitate? Who's this? Can you mute yourself? Hope you've done that. I know I'm this very, don't bother. It happens all the time. The only thing is it in a way disturbs flow, but don't bother. Okay. Anyway, so back to this VRIO model, which is an even more recently adopted model. Is it how rare is the product? How difficult is it to imitate? And is the organization around to support you? Let's look at this. I have, I'm just trying to think of an example which will make it interesting for you to follow up. I live in South Bangalore. South Bangalore is in the news for having the largest number of quarantine zones and all that. But despite that, it's a pleasure to be in this part of the town. And the place where I am is that I have for you Bangaloreans, you would know what is a tomato chat or a tomato slice. This is a very unique product that these roadside vendors have. they slice the tomato and make a very nice concoction of a snack. Okay, so this guy is just in my neighborhood, but does he bring great amount of value to my life? Not necessarily, but in certain way, he's kind of a landmark point out there. So in terms of the valuability, he may not be very, very strong, but in terms of the fact that his dish has a very uniqueness, we can assume that it's a rarity. I mean, people are willing to travel. I'm sure there are very iconic restaurants, and I'm just sticking to lower level examples, and then we move to a more business oriented examples, is that you have a concept of iconic restaurants in every city, in every town. Okay. But so is it very rare? Yeah, it's obviously very, very rare in the sense. I'll probably maybe move to another example, which is
Vidyarthi Bhavan Masala Dosa.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, is that Santosh Hegde or who's that?
Okay.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, that's true. With Vidyarthi Bhavan Masala Dosa is rare, but okay, let me take another example which can take it everywhere along the VRIO model, because I just realized that I have a product.
Sorry, MTR.
Long back, when I was working out of Koramangala, the first time in my life, I saw a card which said 99 varieties of dosa. Now, I was pretty thrilled about the fact that you can have 99 varieties of dosa, because I, like Santosh Hegde, only know one dosa, which is a masala dosa. So that was something unique in that model of business. That thing was something very, very unique in that model. So, I was so excited that I drove back home, pulled my wife out, and asked her to come to Koramangala to have this 99 variety of dosa. Because I thought it was a very, very rare idea and not many people would have copied it. Of course, she was not too very excited with what was being offered to her. But on the way, when we drove back, I noticed that it's not rare. There were already half a dozen of them in Koramangala alone. And by the time I crossed the BTM, there was another dozen of such 99 varieties of dosa. So what I thought was a valuable product was no longer rare. And it's very easy to imitate, because you don't need anything else. It's very easy to imitate. But even if you have a dosa which is as unique as Santosh said as the Vidyarthi Bhavan dosa, does he have the capability in him to expand all over the world? No, he does not have the capability in him to expand all over the world, because he does not have an organization to support. Now, while this might be simpler examples, now let me give you a more structured example. What is a more structured example? When you start a business, you must look at not the SWOT part of it, because you've understood it well, you know what your strengths are, weaknesses are. That's more from an internal viewpoint. What is my strength? What is my weakness? What is my opportunity? And what is going to threaten me? It's from all me side. But no longer, it has to be from the customer side. Do I bring in value to the customer? Is the customer willing to pay 1.5 times the auto fare to sit into a taxi that comes right in front of my house? And what is it that I am willing to pay? There was a time when, there was what is called the surge pricing in Ola and surge pricing in Uber. You had a multiplication factor. Sir, because of demand, we have now a 5x surge price. That means what would cost you 60 rupees might probably cost you 300 rupees to reach a destination. But you are still willing to pay that 300 because it brings in extreme value to an organization, to your life. Just as important as the rest of the things in your working life are, this brings in value. So anything that brings in value to the customer. Now, do you see the difference between SWOT and VRIO? SWOT is as the company perceives. VRIO is as the user, the world perceives. How rare is it? How rare is it? Well, am I willing to go all the way to get myself a product like this? How rare is it? How do you define the value of a painting of M.F. Hussain? It's a rare product. It's a rare product. It is just not possible for you to have another one. And hence there is a uniqueness to that model. It's a rare thing. So the more rare you are, there you have the business opportunity. Then is it difficult to imitate? Can you just go ahead and make another one? No. If the more difficult it is to imitate, the more strengthened your own organization is. The more strengthened are your customers connected with you. We noticed that the moment the pandemic came, everybody found Zoom as valuable. Everybody ran to Zoom because that was possibly the only thing. But then over a period of time, every other large organization which was in the social media came up with an app. All of a sudden, WhatsApp, which had only 3 simultaneous chat, came up with 8. And Google Hangout overnight became Google Meet and started giving you free. WebEx gave you. Is it difficult to imitate? No, it is not. Even GeoMeet is there, and I don't know, every other meet is there. So
Microsoft Meet.
Microsoft, everybody is coming out there. But now the question is the organization around to turn you? What does that mean? Is that if you have a huge opportunity, do you have the capacity in you to address that whole market? That means to say that can you expand overnight into a very large way? Like you cannot. In some organizations, while they may have a unique product, they may be stuck for lack of manpower, lack of skill sets, lack of whatever it is. So a SWOT model there, you have a VRIO model here. Any questions on this? I assume there are questions.
As a consumer,
yes.
So as a consumer, when you say that when I'm using a product which might be expensive, like talking about AirPods. So AirPods are expensive. Now that Realme and other companies have also launched Bluetooth earphones, which are less in terms of money. So as a consumer, I'm talking about a consumer. So that is somehow giving me a lot of options to think about. But as a businessman, as in if I am working in that company, if I am trying to make that sales, so what do you think could be a challenge to cover up on that? For example, if I am working in Apple and X person is working in Realme, so they have products cheaper than Apple products, and they have got the same specifications.
Correct. Their product is cheaper from Apple. Their product serves exactly what you want. Their product is exactly the same. All cups of coffees are similar. You can, Alba, you can go to, take your friend to a neighboring coffee place and order 2x3 coffee and have a coffee between two of you or 3 of you. Or you can walk in because you care for your friend, walk into Starbucks. But if somebody that you really want to impress, somebody that you really want to stay connected to, you would obviously go to Starbucks, right?
Right.
Yeah. Why would you go to Starbucks? Is because it brings in value to you. You are not somewhere along our class, possibly in class 5. We'll have a conversation on what is the mindset of a person. Okay. Like for example, how much deeply do you think for stepping out and having a breakfast outside? And how much deeply do you think you about stepping out and buying a mobile phone. Because some actions have a greater effect on your lifestyle. If you're alone, Alpa, and having a cup of coffee, you wouldn't mind going to the nearest guy and having a quick cup of coffee. If you are going and trying to make a statement for yourself, you would obviously go to Starbucks. So that is the differentiator that I'm trying to say. I hope I'm trying to put in the point.
Sir, I also have one point to tell for Alpha. Now, for example, Apple, iPod, and Realme. Apple will have his own set of consumer, and Realme will have his own set of consumer. So now, for example, I can even travel in an Alto car. I can even travel in BMW. So just because BMW should not get worried because it's Alto launch, both will have its set of consumers.
Correct. Again, in defense of what Alpa asked, it depends on what we perceive as an important parameter, what we perceive as an important. I am of the belief that I don't mind my earphones be of Realme or Redmi, but I would rather want to have my laptop from Mac. Is because in some cases we don't really care, because the value addition that they bring in is not going to make a difference to our lifestyles. But in certain points, they make a difference to our lifestyles. Is that well understood?
Yes, sir. And somehow it becomes a status symbol as well.
Yes, all the time. So again, what is the value addition that the organization brings? For I don't know which was the ad that says that every, I don't know whether it's Hindustan Lever or Procter Gamble, which says that every product that you buy, 1 rupee goes towards child education, or
PNG, sir, PNG.
PNG. Female child education, whatever, girl education, more precisely.
It's PNG.
Yeah, so one is you may buy the product because you like the product. Even if they did not, so you'll buy it. But then the very fact that they are telling you makes you feel that you're connecting to that organization. You care for child education, and hence the connect is a little more tighter between the two. The end user and the one who is making the sale. Okay. So I want to leave you at this.
One of the question is like SWOT is not the replacement for VRIO, right?
No. SWOT is not a replacement for VRIO at all. Why I said that was that even before you came to the class, you knew SWOT. Most of the time, you knew SWOT. If you had 1 or 2 years of work experience, somebody would have used the word SWOT and you knew what it meant. What I am trying to say is that, and there are many models. Actually, there are very many models that you can look at. If you guys are done, so SWOT looks at it from the company point of view. VRIO looks at it from the end user point of view. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, now, if you got these two, I'm going to give you the link. You don't have to do it now. I want you to read this for 10 minutes, 2 minutes or 5 minutes, whatever. These are two case studies that I'm going to leave it with you. I'm going to give you the link at the end of the day, at the end of my class. What is the time now? 3:30?
3:40.
So 3:40.
Okay. I'm just wondering if I was already 4. Yeah, okay. So I'm going to leave this with you, and I want you to complete a SWOT analysis. If you have any questions on this, we're going to spend 2 minutes trying to understand it.
Preferably, I want the ladies to attempt the platinum bodies. Preferably, I want the men to attempt the happily ever after. Because by default, I think you guys will say, I want to do it because you guys think you have a macro image or something like that. Understood? You can take a snap of it because I'm not sure when I will upload it right away, but done. Can we move on?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So I want you to do this, and I'll give you this Google form for this, and you will later on read it. Now comes, there's more to it than just the alternate to SWOT is something called PESTEL. What does that mean? These are just terminology. I'm not going to spend too much of time on it. I just want you to understand what these are. What is the implication of politics in your business? Many a time, politics can ruin your business, right? The way politics is ruining the business of TikTok, right?
Yes.
TikTok did not do any damage. It was political differences between two countries which could have political impact. You know what is economic impact can do to your lives. We are seeing it right away. There is economic impact to lives. Social impact to life, example of it is somebody believes that there's a good opportunity for me to open a restaurant or a bar or a wine shop. He could have a social backlash. Could be a social backlash and his business could be affected. Lots of time there are social backlash. As a matter of fact, there are social backlashes between Islamic and Jewish or all kinds of things happening. People don't want to buy from this country, or you don't want to buy from X country or Y country. It happens all the time. So there are social, cultural, you can read all of them, which could effectively hamper your business or do your business well. For example, how many of you have heard of a company called Tupperware?
Yes, sir, I have.
Tupperware makes sense because of social bonding. Women connect with each other and business happen. Herbalife, the primary foundation for business is social engagement. So that could be technology. Technology all the time can come and kill you. One technology which is better than the other can come and damage your business. Many a time there could be environmental damages that could do it up. So, and finally, of course, you can get into a legal hassle and you could be out of it. So SWOT, VRIO, PESTEL, then we come across a very, very commonly used term, which is CAC, cost of acquisition. What does that mean? When you start a business, your business is towards acquiring a customer. Now, how much do you spend to acquire a customer? Now, let's try to understand this through an example. Let's assume that you are in the business of, I'm just trying to think of a good example so it makes sense. Okay, how many of you have DTH connections in your house? How many of you use Tata Sky, Airtel to watch
Airtel.
Airtel. Okay.
Yes, we have.
So, if you look at it, what is the cost of acquiring a customer here? One is the cost of marketing. Second is the cost of sending him a box, which is called the set-top box, and the cost of putting up an antenna on the top of his roof, and the possible cost of connecting it all together. Now, the whole cost of that may be about 5,000 rupees. It costs 5,000 rupees for Tata Sky to supply you a set-top box, blah, 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 antenna, all that, and deliver to you. I'm assuming that also includes marketing costs, marketing people and all that. But at 5,000 rupees, nobody is willing to switch from their cable operator to a DTH service. So now Tata Sky says that I'll give it to you for 3,000 rupees. Now 3,000 is what you pay. 2,000 is what is being subsidized or is being the cost that Tata Sky is taking among themselves to provide you the service. So the cost of acquisition of the customer is how much? 2,000 rupees. Now, if your monthly DTH charges are 200 rupees, how many months should you stay with him to at least recover the cost of acquisition? 10 months.
10 months.
At the end of 10 months, Tata Sky has not made money from you. It has only recovered the cost of acquisition of the customer. At the 11th month, they start possibly making money because the fact that you are staying longer. But in the 9th month, if you decide that you don't want the connection, look at the entire damage to their business. You have where the cost of acquisition of a customer is much more than the monetization cost. So this is a very, very important parameter that everyone must understand. When you go ahead and develop an app, you spend $100,000 to develop an app, and then you put up ads for all of these and you spend another 200,000. And you give them a free service. After some time, the guy just deletes the app. How would you survive a business? So you must know that what does it cost for me to acquire a customer and how will I recover that cost? So this is a very commonly used formula or a term. I thought I'll bring this up with you guys.
Sir, I have one question. Sir, I have one question. So as we are speaking about cost acquisition, assume it is a manufacturing company assume that it's a car which has been sold out. So how we will take this up? Like once car is sold out, it is sold out for entire money, right? So
Okay.
how that
the cost now it is not the cost of acquisition cost is based on, let's take the cost of the Alto, something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now what is the biggest cost involved is the design cost. How much did you spend money on designing the car? You spend designing a car is a very complicated thing and all that. You spend $10 million on designing let's say a new car. Now you take that 10 million and then divide it by, you're assuming that I'm going to get 1 million sales out of this car. So take that 10 divided by 1 million, which is your assumed minimum market value. So you arrive at a cost of 1,000, right? 1,000, 10, I don't know how much is that. 10 million. So you have arrived at $10. 1 million customers, $10 will make it 10 million. So every time you sell the product, whatever is the cost of raw material, whatever is the cost of everything, you will add an additional $10 because that was the design cost. Once you reach 10 million sales, that has already been covered up. So for somebody who is in a complex business like manufacturing cars, you must get from this particular model 10 million if you have to break it. Does it make sense to you?
Yes, sir. Got it.
Okay, that done. We'll move into other terminologies, which are all there. I'm going to quickly go to it. ARPU is a very commonly used terminology that you would start to, if you haven't heard of it, you open your eyes, start reading Economic Times and read all reports, you'll say, which is called ARPU. ARPU is average revenue per user. Why is it a very important parameter? Again, who do you give discounts to? Why does Amazon look at your previous purchases and give you more interesting offers? Or how much are you billing every month?
Depends upon who you are. Average revenue per user is that, let's say the case of mobile phones. Airtel, if you look at it, the average user per revenue in India today is about 149 rupees. I think across all mobile companies. So monthly recharge is 149 rupees. Somebody who is doing less than 149 rupees is a pain to the organization. Somebody who's doing 799 rupees is a pleasure to the organization. But averaged out, now you know whom should you care for and whom should you not care for. So that's why when I call or you call the Airtel customer care service, you say, oh, you are welcome to a platinum care service for you, exclusively designed for you, which means to say they know what is it that you are bringing in revenue for them every month, and they treat you a little more nicely. So that is ARPU. Then I want you to get into two very important things. Please take time out to read this, because these will be taught in your economic class, but I just hang on for a minute on this and move out of it. There are what are called macro and micro parameters. Macro parameter is what we are facing today. The pandemic is not controlled or confined to a particular region. The best example of a macro is the pandemic, is that it is virtually affecting everybody. There's nothing much that you can do about it. A macro parameter. A micro parameter is that which possibly affects you, is a localized condition, and possibly can be addressed and solved by you. Now, if there is a political change, then if there is a lockdown because of the government, it's a macro level decision. But it's a lockdown because your employees refuse to work, that's a micro level decision. If it's because that roads are blocked and the government has said a lockdown, you're not getting the supplies, then it's a macro level decision. But if your suppliers are not supplying to you because you don't have good payment terms, that's a micro level challenges. So normally when you do a business and analyze any business, you will look at two terms, which is called the macro level and the micro level. Questions on this? No. Fair enough. Okay. Now I'm going to come to a last topic on this subject, and I'm going to take the slide in another one. Okay, as I switch slides, I want you guys to tell me, how are we progressing? Are you following me up, or do you want me to?
I think we are doing good, sir.
We're doing good?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
we're going to go to this a little bit later, but I'm going to...
So the slides are available in Google Drive, but they are marked with class 1, class 2. So how do we follow these slides? Because it reads mix of marketing and that.
Technically, you should have only one slide, because I just uploaded one slide. Depends on when you saw it. If you saw it last week, then there were a lot of slides.
Right.
But if you go back and see it now, you will only find you will find only one slide, which is the slide that I had uploaded in the previous section. Is that answering you?
Sir, I have a request.
Yes.
Sir, it becomes really difficult for me specifically to navigate on LMS. So if you can just show us like how to navigate and find the slides for the classes.
I'm not the best of guys.
Can't we download from LMS?
How many of you have that problem?
So, Professor Ramesh, if I can chip in here, Alpa, why don't you write to the professor? He can mail it to you directly.
Pardon?
I said if she has such a problem in navigating the LMS listen, all of you have got 7-8 years experience. That LMS is not rocket science. Visit it, spend half an hour, see what's going on, and you'll figure out. It's very simple.
It is pretty straightforward. There are different courses. If you go to the dashboard, all the 4 courses are listed. So each of those courses, if you get in, the class PPTs, exercises, documents, everything is available.
Okay, one question to all of you. Can we download from LMS so that we can?
Yes, you can.
Yes, you can do it.
Yes, you can download from LMS because I think that's the whole objective. Yes.
Until
No, you
last
have
week, there
to-
were a lot of. Yes.
No. Please, there is a lot of information in the LMS. You will have to get used to the LMS, because if 120 of you start writing to the professor to deal with you individually, it will be almost impossible. So please visit the LMS and spend some time on it. It is very, very simple and easy, and you will be very easy. So for example, all case studies, all PPT, all videos, you can go and pick up.
It is also important because
Sloop
the
is also there, I assume.
assignments also have to be submitted through LMS. only.
Yes.
So it is important.
LMS, yeah, you're right. Assignments have to be
The
put on the
earlier
LMS.
you learn, the better, because you're going to use it in all terms. So it's something that's inevitable for you to learn. Captain, anything else that you may want to comment, because you just came up at the right time? Yes.
No, I think I think we'll have to deal with processes. So there is a learning management system. There is an online system. There is an assignment submission system. There's an examination system. So so unfortunately, we can't do this on an individual basis. It has to be done as a process. Otherwise, the whole system will fall apart.
Okay, I hope that addresses your question, but the short answer to yours is get into the LMS, learn how to handle the LMS.
Yeah. So Professor Ramesh, I think, if some specific people have a problem with the learning management system, they can talk to Arvind about it, or Professor Rajan, and I think they can take them through they can schedule a Zoom session and then take them through what needs to be done. So here very clearly, Mr. 1, there are courses. You not be able to see Mr. 2. So just go to trimester 1, click on that. Your interest is accounting, HR, marketing, and OT. Click on each of those courses, and you will be able to see assignment 1, assignment. If you go to my page, that is OT, it is so nicely laid out. Question bank there. You have model question papers. You have readings. I have put up all the PPTs. The five PPTs that I have sort of wanted to deal with over the last 2 classes are there. The assignments are there, clearly spelled out. All the articles are there. So you have to go and spend some time. Spend about 15-20 minutes. It's not science. Okay, sir. I don't want to interrupt your class. I just sort of popped in to see how things are going. But I hope disturbed. So yeah, I'll push off.
Timing was good, and always good to have you around. Yes, makes sense. Okay, good. So I hope that answers your question. Let's move further. I guess I have another 30-35 minutes. So I have a few more things to cover so that we are ready for the last class, which is coming up on 9th of August. That will be before your last date for submission. So what am I going to do now is that I am going to help you understand what is a case study, because as a policy within the Dayanand Sagar University, especially on the MBA thing, we are laying a lot of emphasis on case studies. Now, case studies are very important because they help you in 2 ways. Is that they help you understand and analyze a past event under present condition to understand what went wrong, what went right, and what should be the next move. all of you, if you look at the 3 business case studies that I have given to you for the assignment 1, we have chosen, one is the Fitbit challenge, the challenge that Fitbit as a wearable device encounters as it tries to expand its business. The second is the challenge, all of them from Ivy League schools. So the second is the challenge of a software company called Prosper, how they navigate through various conditions. And the third is the challenges that a Indian electric or two-wheeler company, Ather Energy, faces, where the market has to be educated and the market challenges are out there. Depending on the group that you belong, one of them, you will have to break it down, analyze. They typically run to about 8-10 pages, I guess. On the last page, I have added another PDF, has the questions that you will have to study to answer. That said, what is a business case study? A business case study is a case of what is a business case is different from a business plan. We will come to a business plan further down our classes, wherein we actually look at how do we plan a business. But most importantly, we first need to understand how to do a case analysis. A business case is normally a historical data of a situation of failure or success of an idea, and what went within an organization, and what were the chosen parts within the organization which resulted in success or otherwise of it. So we will use these learnings in our own lives later on. I am sure Tata will use their learnings from Nano every time they try to now introduce something which they want to call it as a mass product, because they have had their learnings from these things. So a business plan, on the contrary, is something totally different. Is that how do you go ahead and put in the various ingredients into your recipe to make sure that your dish is a success. So that said, there are obviously standard definitions to these, but these are my perspective and not necessarily a textbook decision.
Sir, a quick question here.
Pardon?
Quick question. So you were talking about right now business plan and how to design a business or business case, and our subject is marketing management. So I mean, right now, as my thinking is, marketing is a subset of business, and business comes at the big level, and marketing comes at it's a case of this one.
Correct.
So is this my idea correct? Because right now we are studying the business, and the top subject name is marketing management.
Marketing management. No, I don't know what's your question, rather.
So basically what I want to ask is, like, our subject name is a marketing management. So my image in my mind is how to do the marketing of a product, how you do advertisement, this and that. Yes. And right now we are talking about business plan and how to, business case study and how to define a business like that. So, I mean, this is something away from you are doing marketing, right? Business means you are doing everything, business. Marketing plus more.
Fair enough. I know what you're trying to drive at, but what is business per se, as you would know it? Let us understand what is business. We just went through let me tell you one thing. I honestly want such questioning, because that's the only way that learning can happen. That's the only way that I get excited to teach. Excellent. I want every one of you to challenge everything that comes up on the screen, on the screen. Okay. You must understand what is the primary objective of a company that we discussed. what was that? Very difficult for me to bring back that slide, but we say, given the resources, given the primary objectives that we have, and the market that we are trying to address, we want to bring in profitability either in the short term, but definitely in the long term, correct? That is the objective of every business, right or wrong?
That's correct.
Correct. So assuming whatever business I do, I say that I am in the business of making steel. I will find out where can I get the raw material? How do I use the best of the resources and the best of the technology to sell the final product steel in a market which may be extremely competitive? I may have to do anything that is possible in my best known interest to either make money short term or definitely make money over a long term sustained period. Now, the marketing is every part of that process. Well, unless and until I know who am I going to supply it, unless and until I know where my product will have a reach. If I come out with, if I believe that my largest users are in the same market where steel itself is being manufactured, I am entering a wrong market. If I believe that I want to go and address or supply my steel in markets which are very poor, there's no industry growth, I am addressing a wrong market. If I go and address, because at one time, 1/10 of all the cranes in the world were all in Dubai, if you remember. So you know where the industry is growing. You know where the market potential is. That is where you have to go. So a business plan is involving various sections of the thing, which one of them is marketing. You also must know at what cost am I running this business. For you to run this business, you may have to borrow money, right? You may have to borrow money. So the question becomes, what is the cost of money? I'm sure you have a class in accounting which will tell you what is the cost of money. I'll give you one small example of why. How many of you know that Airtel went to Africa? Airtel,
we know it.
Yes.
Airtel, I don't have that slide. Let me see if I can put that slide out, or it doesn't matter.
It should even be available on the website, sir. Airtel services, Africa, Sri Lanka.
Okay, I was supposed to be discussing another case study, but because you brought this up brilliantly, I want to tell you why it's important for, can you hold on for a second?
Sure, sir.
Hold on for a second. I'm going to try to find what I think I should share with you.
Sir.
Good. I hope I find it here. Give me one more minute. Because I'm trying to pull out a slide which is. How nations schools study of contrasting. Give me one more minute. Okay, I got it. Only thing is, how do I share this? Stop share. Share screen. Okay. Can you see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay. I was supposed to talk about this, but I take clue from what you said, but I'll get back to you there. I was supposed to talk about Tanishq, but thanks to you, I'm going to switch over to a different case study. I'll also describe what is a case study and why we should do it after I tell this case study. Look at these two countries, or these two as good as big. One is a subcontinent by itself. Look at Africa and look at India. Africa and Indian population are almost similar. Look at the area. Africa is 10 times the size of India. India has, I don't know, this number keeps changing, number of states and number of countries, or 54 countries out there. I just told you what is ARPU. Can any one of you tell me what is ARPU stand for?
Average revenue per user. Average revenue per user.
Revenue per user in India for mobile is how much? $3.5. That's approximately how much? 230 rupees, right? 230 or 240 rupees is the average revenue that a mobile user pays for India. An Indian user pays for a service. What is the average revenue in Africa? $8. That translates to almost 550 rupees. And the mobile density in India is almost full. 90% of India is now it's 100%. When Airtel was planning to enter Africa, mobile density was 90%. Mobile density in Africa is 50%. So which is the market to go?
Africa.
Because Africa, they pay you more. Africa is more.
Opportunities are more.
The opportunities are more.
Scope of
mobile density is so less, and you know that everybody wants mobile, and that's the country to go. This is the competition that you have, and I'm going to skip this for now, but I'll come back to it later. So this is the African Safari case study. Okay, I'm not going to skip all this. Look at how big is Africa. Africa can have India for breakfast. India, United States, China, UK, Italy, Switzerland, Germany, Netherlands, France, everything sits inside Africa. Huge, huge, huge country, and only 50% of them are using mobile, and they are paying every month 500 rupees compared to India's piddly 230. We should go to Africa. So Airtel decided that why not I go to Africa? After all, India is going global. We are doing very well. Indian businesses, wonderful. If China can go to Africa, why can't I go to Africa? And who knows mobile business better than Airtel, man? Airtel are the inventors of a profitable mobile business. So we should go to Africa. And in India, we sell it so cheap. In Africa, the ARPU is so high. In India, everybody wants cheaper price and the government wants high money for the spectrum. Why should we not go to Africa? Let's go to Africa. Interesting, right? If Tata can buy one of the largest steel plants, why should I not go to Africa? So they go to Africa. In 9th June 2010, Airtel acquired Africa. So far, nothing of this is marketing. But then look at what happens as we move forward. Airtel acquires Zain. They tried to acquire a larger company called MTM, but finally they acquired a company called Zain by paying $9 billion. By paying $9 billion, they acquired Zain Mobile Company. But from where did they get $9 billion? They didn't have it in their pocket. So they went and borrowed at $8.5 billion. What does borrowing mean? Borrowing means that you have to pay with interest. You will have to service it and if you delay it, there'll be further penalties on it. But Airtel said, "Arey yaar, doesn't matter. We have an open market. Let's go there." So the logic was very simple. As I said, I'm going to skip through all of these slides. And finally, on June someday, right? What was that day? June 9th, probably exactly 10 years and 2 months earlier, they bought, Airtel entered into Africa. And what did they project? That 54 million customers will become 100 million customers. And we will have 5 billion revenue and we'll have 2 billion profitability. What happened? We'll not skip to this slide. Within the end of 2 years, forget profitability. Airtel lost additional $5 billion. So not only did they invest 9, they had to invest another $5 billion. And their number of customers went from 54 to 63.4 million dollars, and they were nowhere near to the whole profitability of the business. Now, why did Airtel go wrong? Airtel went wrong for many reasons. This is one reason that we will not discuss because it's a non-marketing reason. But I'll stick to you very, very briefly as to what went wrong. You will, as you go up the lessons or go to higher terms, you will learn what is called the GDP, or the GDP per capita is how much does every individual in this country earn. So if you look at it, they assumed that whole of Africa is one country. Just because India is like a single country, they assumed that whole of Africa is in one country. The countries in which Airtel entered the business were the poorest of the countries. The richest countries are in dark green. The poorest countries are in the lightest shade of green. As you can see, the lightest shade of green are the countries in which Airtel entered Africa. So now, if you don't know your Maslow's pyramid, and if you don't understand what is the difference between your needs and wants, you cannot make a decision just like that. What is more important for somebody down the bottom of the Maslow's pyramid? It's food and water and shelter and safety, and not call time or mobile minutes.
Professor Ramesh, sorry to interrupt. Whenever you have a small gap, I need about 2 minutes, please.
Right away, sir. Right away. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm really sorry, but I need it. So I need to run a quick, general knowledge quiz with your permission.
Oh, go ahead.
So I would just want to ask this class as to who is the CEO of TCS?
Gopinath.
Chandrasekhar Gopinath.
Chandrasekhar Gopinath. CEO of
Lot of background.
Rajesh Gopinathan.
Guys, can you mute it, please?
Sir, Rajesh
Gopinathan. Rajesh Gopinathan.
Rajesh Gopinathan.
Rajesh Gopinathan. Who is the
Yes,
CEO?
Rajesh Gopinathan.
Who is the CEO of, say, Alphabet?
Sundar Pichai.
Sundar Pichai.
Who is the CEO of Microsoft?
Satya Nadella.
So, is Infy an Indian company?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Is TCS an Indian company?
Yes.
Is Alphabet, which owns Google, an Indian?
No, not it.
Why? No, it's headed by Sundar Pichai, right?
But it is not registered under Indian government.
Tamil Nadu boy.
It is not founded.
He is a US citizen.
It is not registered under Indian government. This thing.
What about this one, Microsoft? Is it an Indian company?
No.
No, sir.
Owner is Bill Gates.
But it's an American company, right? It's listed in.
Yes, US based.
US based.
So who owns Zoom?
It's
US.
Eric Yuan.
Yeah, so Zoom is owned by Eric Yuan. He's a Chinese American. Like Sundar Pichai is an Indian American, and Satya Nadella is an Indian American. Yeah. So Eric Yuan is a Chinese American. Like these people, he's not Chinese. He's Chinese American. Like Sundar Pichai is an Indian American, and Satya Nadella is an Indian American. Zoom is headquartered in San Jose. It is owned by Americans, right? Some character has written me a mail saying it's a Chinese company. You are doing your MBA. So please, verify facts before you shoot off random mails like this and then asking me to stop it. I do my homework when I introduce something, and I don't appreciate emails like this. Just for the sake of propriety, I will not name that person. But I wish people do their homework before they launch into emails. At least if somebody would have called me by telephone, I would have appreciated. But they launch an email with facts that are unverified, erroneous, and totally stupid. Thank you, sir.
Oh, good you brought it up, because I think this is what people need to understand. And the better we educate ourselves, the nicer it will be for our own self.
But for heaven's sake, we are in a master's program. We are in an MBA. This is the terminal education that most people are going to get in this country. And I think the average age of this group is about 30, 32 years. This kind of random, unverified talk I would expect in school, 8th standard, 9th standard, and so on and so forth. And we're talking about Harvard case study. You're talking about Airtel going to Africa, and you're drawing up some figures of macro and micro economies, GDP. See you, sir. I am off.
Perfect. Good,
I need to entertain myself a little bit. I've had a tough day today.
No. Good that you brought it up, because the earlier this is resolved, the better it is for that individual as well.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So anyway, long story short, we'll move this forward. So the point was that while Airtel found a big market, they didn't do their homework well enough to be able to get into reality. As Airtel started getting in, they found that something was not just going on very well. What is it that they found was that just because your model in India worked well, it doesn't necessarily mean that your model will work in some other part of the country. They must have done some of their proper planning out there. Again, let's go look at one particular ad. Okay, now, it's a totally strange topic of discussion, but I want to get this very point very clear. Look at the bottom of the ad. Look at the bottom of the ad. Somebody is trying to sell coffee. Now, coffee is predominantly a beverage had in South India. Now, if you look at this, the granny on the left, she looks typically North Indian, and she's trying to sell us a coffee powder. If you look at the lady on the right, she's typically South Indian, and she's enjoying herself a cup of coffee. Now, which is likely to make an impact on the buyer? It's obviously the one on the right, because he resembles the possible user or the possible consumer. So this works if we can understand this basics. Look at the picture on the top. 2 ads of Airtel. 2 ads of Airtel across Africa. For you and me, they look like Africans. But for you and me, the bottom half of the picture, they are not Indians. One is a South Indian, one is a Punjab, whatever. Okay. Similarly, Airtel did not do its basic research when trying to enter into these markets, that it gave an ad agency to somebody in India. And you ended up having faces which, for example, the girl on the right was probably a Nigerian girl, and they were using that in Tanzania to sell the product. You and I cannot make out the nuanced differences between two African features, but to the African, they can make out from which part of Africa they come from. So why am I bringing this up in a hurry is that if you do not understand the pulse of the people, there's no way that you can do business just because you have a good product or you have a good pricing. Marketing is an essential ingredient of any business planning. I hope I've been able to drive this point.
Sir, in your last assignment of that one failed product, one of those products was Google Glass.
Yes.
And the failure reason was they did not know what the people really wanted.
Yeah. Which one? I'm sorry, I missed out what you said.
Sorry, it's all right. So one of the failed products was Google Glass. And hello, can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
All right. So in your last assignment, if you look at, the multiple failed products, one of them was Google Glass. I think one of the persons would have also written. The purpose it was the reason why it was a failure was when they made it from a factor that, what Google thought people needed, but actually it did not appeal to the actual needs and wants of people. And that was one of the reasons why Google Glass failed.
Absolutely. Perfect. Okay, I want to discuss this and then I'll move on for today. Before I wind up for today, I want to make sure that you've all understood what is your assignment, for which I'm going to give you the link now before we wind up the class. Is that,
sir, if you don't mind, could you please repeat the assignment task once more?
Assignment screen, no?
Yep.
Yeah, I will do that. As a matter of fact, I will. Yeah, I'll bring it up right away. But what is the time? Do we have?
Sir, one of the question I had.
Okay, we'll come back to this later, but we'll go back to the assignment screen. Yes.
Sure.
Go ahead. What is your question? Ask your question.
Okay, question. So, I mean, right now we were seeing the Airtel stuff. So, I mean, just maybe I want your opinion on this. Like, Airtel is a big company, and we saw a lot of money they have, and then they will have, definitely they should have the brilliant talents across their board. So, I mean, we are discussing here that they failed to understand the ground or people. And this is the very normal thing what the company should, I mean, the Airtel should have seen. So basically what has gone bad means the top level management has taken wrong decisions, or like, what's your opinion on that? Because being such a big company and being such an, I mean, big experience, they should have done this one, right?
Correct. I know exactly what you're coming. I am in two modes. So I'm going to answer you right away. Once I have done this. Okay. So the point is absolutely Airtel should have done their exercises. But what happens is many a time, lots of factors get driven into it. You might miss out on some parameters. You might make some assumptions. Actually, the Airtel case study is a very, very lengthy case study, which goes on. Did I miss that?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
You went past it, sir. You went past it.
How come nobody stopped me? Okay. So the Airtel
That is the one.
study is a very, to whoever asked this question, the Airtel case study is a very classical case study because a lot of things went wrong. I'll tell you, one is they went to the poorest of the countries, point number one. Point number two, they did not even do research that lot of the countries did not even have proper 3G, forget 4G. That was another problem. Second thing that they realized, which was their realization came very late, was that they are going to earn in local currency. Correct? How do you pay Airtel? If Airtel borrows in US dollars, you are still paying in Indian rupees. So they realize that they get earnings in local currency, but they have to pay in US dollars. The oil market collapsed. When the oil market collapsed, the price of oil went down, and most of these oil producing countries could not pay. And there was their currencies got devalued, which means that it made their life even more miserable. Point number one. Point number two is that they went into a lot of issues with the local government. For example, the local government always wanted to support the local company, just like how much ever it is. To some extent, we always want to support BSNL. The government also wants to support the local organization, Air India and all that. So Airtel got into a lot of legal issues with the competition, but the government of that country did not support. Airtel got their advertisement wrong. There were rumors which went along. So once the Airtel case study is one of the lengthiest case studies which goes on because it's an alive case. Just when Airtel finally sorted out their problem, found out what was going around, where they corrected everything, they became smarter, they employed local people in their marketing team. Just like how I told you about why General Motors failed, because General Motors always had Firangis come and run the company here. If you have a Firangi marketing guy, he will not even have an idea of what the requirements are. The only question that a car buyer wants to know is what? Kitna deta hai? Care a damn for your air conditioning, care a damn for your comfort. Kitna deta hai is the only question. So, long story, sometimes series of mistakes happen. Even when Airtel started recovering from its disaster in Africa, they got hit by another disaster in India. Jio came up and fired them. Even in Jio, they made a big mistake. They reduced prices. Finally, Airtel is learning their act, but now lots of things has changed. Anyway, that's for another discussion. I hope you guys have got this.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Let me give you the link to this so that you can copy. Let me give you the link. I know it was a kind of a jazzy session in and out, but I guess that's how it is. Yeah.
Sir, the need here is just to make the SWOT analysis, or the question here is give your recommendations from a plan standpoint?
The need here is to make a SWOT analysis, but if the SWOT analysis has to make sense, right? Are you getting me?
Yeah.
Exactly, sir.
No, I don't know. Did I answer? I mean, I was trying to.
No, I'm just talking from an assignment standpoint, deliverable. So
Okay.
is the deliverable here a SWOT analysis? Because the question says give the plan. A SWOT analysis is not a plan, right? It's more of an analysis.
No, what does my question say?
Just check the Google Forms. Sir has clearly mentioned what you have to just open it.
Okay.
Yeah, the thing says, it very clearly says that give me the strength, weakness. Okay, well, let's spend 2 minutes. Preeti and whoever is there, maybe pick up one of them. What do you think? Let's discuss for 1 minute each. What do you think is the strength of Platinum Bodies? One of you can answer.
Database, the humongous database which was captured for over last 20 years.
Okay, they have a database which is a very, you think that is the strength of the Platinum Bodies. Yeah, stop at that. What do you think is the threat of happiness ever after? Any one of you?
Adi.com.
So many
other websites, other matrimonial websites. Adi.com, TamilMatrimony.com.
Correct. So this is what it is. So this is what I want you to answer. If you can answer, there could be 2 threats, there could be 3 opportunities. Just try to spend some time so that your answer, you see, the problem is that you're going to have 120 of you answer. So obviously there's going to be a benchmark which is going to be set up. There are going to be some below the benchmark, there are going to be some above the benchmark. For you to be above the benchmark, you may have to think and answer a little differently so that you get noticed to be on the top of the 10 as such. Okay?
Sure.
Yeah, I think I'm done for today. Any questions on the subject, on anything on this? I obviously wanted to move a little more further on from where we are. On my next class, we will have to complete the 4 Ps and the STP, the segmentation, targeting and positioning, 2 topics that I have to complete it in the next week so that you guys can go ahead and answer your questions. So thank you very much. I'll give you guys 1 more minute to ask me anything related to the subject or otherwise, generally on marketing, generally on business, or whatever you want to ask.
Just a couple of questions. Any reference study materials that you recommend more from a knowledge gathering perspective?
See, there are 2 things that you can do. One is, the answer to this is class 2. So too early for me to talk about it from an exam point of view. But if you want to answer from an exam point of view, you will have to, of course, read my PPTs. I'll also upload another set of PPTs that should basically cover up what you're looking at. But if you want to read books, there are definitive books that I can give you as a link to read it from. Like I mentioned last time, you guys are smart guys, you know how to get those books. If reference material, I think you must, I can give you quite a few reference material, but I will not give you for now. Let me give it to you in class 5, because reference materials means going beyond the subject towards a larger domain.
So one
That's
last
fine, sir.
question.
That's fine.
But
Thanks.
read
Sir,
Economic
one
Times,
last question.
read business magazines.
Sure.
So as of
One.
now, there is only one PPT, so we can just revise that one which is available, or?
No, I will upload the other PPT in the next half an hour, 1 hour.
Okay, sure. Thank you,
I
sir.
will
So what
upload
would be the
that.
timeline to submit this assignment, sir?
Timeline is 20.
I think 24th of August.
Yeah, Ravi Priya is there. And we are in which group?
I think I'm in group 9, sir.
Group 9. Okay. Have you all met up with each other or at least online?
Yes,
sir.
We have
Yeah.
created a group.
Okay, I'm going to make this 4:38. Promise to leave you off by 4:42. One of the things that I've told you is that you have to name your company. So I don't want to call you as group 1. I don't want to call you as group 2. I want to call you by another name. So think of a good name that you can Christian yourselves. Okay, and that has to have some meaningful sense. It has, right?
So these groups will be only used only in the first sem or throughout the curriculum?
I think the answer is definitely in the first sem, but first sem all subjects. But yeah, group 2 also same. I think so. I think the answer is till you branch out to a specialization. I think.
Okay, thank you, sir.
But this is an answer with a caveat.
Okay, got it.
You know where to find the correct answer.
Yes, I got it.
Just one question. In the previous class, we had discussed that we had to state some of the examples with the Maslow's table, periodic table. Or do we have to do that or no, sir? Because some of us were confused of that.
Varshini, I'll tell you what happened. I thought I was the most perfect man when it comes to Google Sheets. So I lined up 3 questions and I wanted them to be instantaneously answered. And I thought that Google Sheet would support it. But then when it went wrong, even I got into cold feet and I realized that there's hell a lot of problems. So I have clarified this, but if you've done it, excellent job. But I just wanted 1, your CV, 2, the failure of a company which did well in class 1. In class 2, I want you to do the vision and mission statement, and I want you to do the SWOT analysis.
Okay, sir.
Okay, but if you have done that, point number 1, I'm sorry that the technology let me down. Point number 2, great job, well done. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
So this is SWOT analysis we have to submit.
Pardon?
SWOT analysis we need to submit today itself, or?
SWOT analysis, you will have to submit it before I see you guys in the next class.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Because you cannot submit class 2 assignment once class 3 has started.
So we have already completed vision and mission. We have submitted that in Google Forms.
Because
so
that was a 15-minute time count on that. Correct.
Right. Thank you. So we don't need to submit again, right?
You don't need to submit again. Obviously, if you have submitted it, no need to submit again. I know how to merge them all into a single file, and I'll take care of it.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Okay, good. Enjoy whatever is left of the evening as such for 4:30. Yeah, and see you all next time.
Thank you, sir.
Okay,
thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Do take care.